Hi everybody, I'm Benita Pedersen with allfiredupforfreedom.com. I am sure you guys are all excited about the convoy going on right now. I'm excited too, which is why I'm on my way to Ottawa. Well, what about taking it beyond convoys? We have a special show planned here for you, and our guest today is none other than Donald Lee. Donald Lee is our guest. Welcome, Donald. I am so glad you could join me this evening for this podcast.
Thank you, Benita. It's a delight, always a delight to be on your show, to see you in person. My pleasure.
Oh, it is. And Donald, I appreciate all that time you spent last summer speaking at different rallies and freedom events that I was involved in. Thank you so much. And even some this year, so that's been fantastic.
We're off to a good start. Thanks for coming to Peace River.
Oh, I love Peace River. Always enjoy it there. Donald Lee, ladies and gentlemen, is a speaker and an author, and he's got two wonderful books out there that I'm already familiar with: The Band Director's Lessons About Life and The Pocket Guide to Spiritual Growth. Donald Lee is also a former band director, and he's got a great website called cominghomespirit.com. So today we're going to be talking a bit about taking it to the next level, taking it beyond convoys, about ways that people can push back effectively in their own communities. Because not everybody can go to Ottawa. I'm on my way to Ottawa, but not everybody can go to Ottawa. And so we encourage people to consider what Donald has to say here. So Donald, before we get started with that topic, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. You know, I retired from teaching, from being a band director a few years ago, and took up a new career as a spiritual author and speaker, just in time for our governments to shut down everything. Just as I was planning a cross-Canada tour, book-selling tour for my first book, everything got shut down. The bookstores were all shut down. Public meetings were shut down. I was so annoyed. And so this past year, I've spent my time researching and writing a new book about, like, what is all this craziness? The title is The Question Everyone Has Been Asking Themselves for 2 years now. What the hell's going on? So that's the title of my new book. I'm just in the process. This month is my time to work with an editor. In fact, I have a call with an editor tomorrow, and get some editing done, do one last revision of the book, and hopefully it should be out by springtime. So what the hell is going on? The web of fraud that is enslaving everyone, and how we can escape to freedom. And so it's perfect that we're talking today about, here's another idea how we can escape to freedom. Benita, you're muted, Benita.
I said escaping to freedom. I love it. And I'm very optimistic about this convoy getting us some positive results. But I'm also sensing at the same time that the work is not yet done. There's more work to be done. And so that's why we're here, Donald, is we're going to talk about the work that people can do in their own communities. So first of all, how about some of your thoughts about the convoy?
Oh, it's awesome. I am so impressed. And so, like, millions of Canadians are behind this. Millions. You know, all of us know this is not some fringe group. This is ordinary Canadians from every walk of life, from every part of the political spectrum. Everybody has just had enough. We're done with this. And, you know, it's been so great to see thousands and thousands of Canadians lining the route of the trucker, taking them food and coffee, and the churches that have baked, made huge meals and brought them out to the road and stuff. It's just been, it's a coming together. It's an event in Canadian unity like we have not seen since Paul Henderson scored that goal in the famous Russia-Canada hockey series back in, I think it was 1972. We have not had a Canadian movement, unity moment like this since Paul Henderson scored.
Yeah, the way I understand things is the convoy has two objectives and has already met one. So one of those objectives is to unite Canadians, and they have done that in a way that's never been done before in history. The second objective, obviously, is to end the mandates. And so I'm very hopeful that that objective is going to be met in the coming days, or maybe it'll take weeks. I don't know. From what I hear, those truckers are prepared to spend quite some time there, getting the attention of Parliament if needed.
And that's beautiful. And I've also been thinking, and other people all over the world are watching this, right? And they're thinking, wow, like those Canadians are awesome. And what these truckers are doing is so typically Canadian. There's no violence. There's no anger. It's like completely responsible. The Ottawa police have said, there's been no incidents, like no arrests, no problem. But and this is absolutely Canadian. Like we're not out to hurt anybody. We're just saying, look, stop the crimes. Just stop. We've had enough. And it's beautiful. It's so Canadian. And that's why my idea is kind of building on another let's go another way we can be Canadian.
Okay, well, I gotta tell you something I just learned today that some of the Freedom folks are planning to do. They know that with the trucks downtown, that it's going to be difficult for snow equipment to come in and do snow removal. So the Freedom fighters are going to clear their own snow. They're going to have a whole bunch of snow shovels, and they're going to clear their own snow in their own area. Because, well, the trucks are not about to move and let the snow equipment come in. So anyway, that's so Canadian. They've been picking up garbage. They've been tidying up after themselves. Any issues are dealt with. It's non-violent. There's no issues. The one little issue that there was broken glass at a business. That was not done by one of the convoy participants. That was a homeless fellow that he was a troubled fellow, and he ended up breaking some glass at a business in that area. But the Freedom fighters are cleaning it up. So I just think it's so super. So much goodness coming out of this. Anyway, Donald, you want to talk about how people can help in their own communities, help support the convoy in a sense, help support the freedom movement, and yet behave in a very Canadian, peaceful manner. Tell us about that.
Yeah, like I participated in one of the solidarity convoys last weekend here in Grand Prairie. We drove from Peace River to Grand Prairie and drove around and got like stuck in this huge convoy where we hardly moved for 3 hours. But it was a great thing, and that's tens of thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands of Canadians participated last weekend in that way to show their support. And now we're at a point where, okay, Monday came, everybody went back to work, and everybody's thinking, like, what do we do now? How do we support our truckers now? And they still need our support. And we need that. Like, I don't think our political leaders, I use the word leaders lightly here, I don't think they're really understanding the level of frustration and anger and all the rest of it in all of us, millions of rank and file Canadians. We need to speak louder, and we need to once again speak with one voice. And something that all of us can do right where we are is we can stay home. We have a little bit of a history in Canada of a general strike. There's the Winnipeg General Strike of 1919, which is famous in Canadian history, although I suppose the vast majority of Canadians nowadays don't even know about it. But what I'm proposing is a general strike. And I'm calling it the Valentine's Street Hockey Rebellion. Everybody, starting on Valentine's Day, February 14th to 18th, just stay home for a week. Don't go to work. Don't buy anything. Don't sell anything. Do what Canadians do. Get on your toque and your snow boots and grab your hockey stick and a puck and go out and play street hockey. I haven't even seen a game of street hockey in this century. Our kids don't even know what it is, don't know how to do it anymore. Like those of us of my age, we grew up playing street hockey, right? And let's just go out. Let's go play street hockey. Everybody, don't go to work. Don't do anything. Stay home, enjoy your family, go play street hockey with your kids for 5 days. If you don't have any kids, like my kids are all grown up, right? Go play with the neighborhood kids. I can grab some of the other retired guys on my street. We can go like fumble around on the street. Those old guys. Look, wouldn't it be awesome if we could go out that week? If everybody in Canada, when they walk out their door, if they look up and down their street and all they see is the street hockey going on. What's going on? Like, this is Canadians doing what Canadians do. we're going to play street hockey. Tell the government, look, just stop what you're doing, because we're going to stop what we're doing until you stop what you're doing.
Donald,
had enough.
I love this, Donald. And to be honest, someone called me a few weeks ago with a similar concept, but at the time, like they said, Benita, like we should organize this. And at the time I was preoccupied with other things. So I was like, well, I can't take that on right now, but that's a great idea. So it was just an idea, right? They wanted to gather on the street, I think outside of an MLA's house. And street hockey was mentioned. And then I also heard of street hockey being done in Ontario in front of Premier Doug Ford's house. And that was last year. And as far as I know, they only did it like one time for one day. But boy, was that an amusing protest. Derek Story was the one who took video of that and shared that online. And it was so much fun seeing these guys. And once in a while they'd see a car and they would yell, "Car!" And they would pick up their goals and walk off the road and let the car go by. But most cars, they would see the street hockey, they would just turn around and take another route. Some of them would sit and watch because they found it amusing as well. So it's ball hockey. They were in their shoes. They weren't on skates. They weren't using pucks. They were just using a gentle ball. And they're just making a point. And they're saying, hey, we disagree with the mandates. And this is our way of expressing so. And what is more Canadian than playing hockey as a protest?
Yeah. And I love it. And people all across the country, you can go wild with this, right? You could organize like a massive street hockey tournament. You can do it in front of your own house. You can do it in front of your MP's house. You can do it in front of your mayor's house or your town council. Like you can be a little more obnoxious and block streets downtown. You can organize like a teams like our block. You could go crazy with this idea if you want. But however you want to do it, everybody. Play street hockey at least once a day for 5 days. Don't go to work. Don't buy anything. Don't sell anything. Let's send a message in a way that every Canadian can send a message, and in a way that is just so, so typically Canadian. Street hockey. If anybody bugs you, just say, hey, they may have some people story.
Well, as a protester, I know a little bit about blocking parking lots and streets. So one of the things I've acquired is a collection of pylons. And when I'm blocking a street or part of a street or part of a driveway or part of a parking lot, I just lay out some pylons. They're bright orange, and some of them are this tall, some of them are this tall. And the traffic sees it and they go around. And then that way I keep the people inside that zone safe from traffic. And as long as there's an alternate route for traffic to go, as far as I'm concerned, there really shouldn't be any issues with local law enforcement. It's just that the traffic needs an alternate route to go. And then also safety. So what I've seen another time with street hockey, now this one was actually sanctioned and permitted and allowed, but what they did is they surrounded the street hockey with hay bales. And then that way, if the ball from the ball hockey was going stray, instead of damaging something nearby, it would just bump into the hay bale and bounce right back onto the street hockey playing area. So, as a protester, like, we're not the kind of protesters that want to go out and wreck things. That's not what we want to do. We believe in personal responsibility, but we also believe in making our point and making our point effectively. And with my background as an entertainer, DJ, karaoke hostess, workshop facilitator, I use all those skills when I protest and rally. And the number one thing I think is important, and Donald, you probably picked up on this, is fun. We got to have a little fun while we protest. It can't just be anger. It's got to be about love and fun and building spirit and winning more people to our side. And Donald, I'm thinking this street hockey concept is going to win us some extra protesters. What about you?
Oh, yeah, I think so. And build community. What's happened in this digital age is that we don't even know the names of our neighbors on our own street, for goodness sakes. I think that's true everywhere in Canada. I live in a small town, and I'm embarrassed to say I'm the same way. I don't even know the names of all my neighbors. I mean, some obviously I do, but not all of them. Not within a 1 block radius of my house. I probably remember the names of maybe a quarter of the people. I'm embarrassed to say that. Hey, get out on the street, knock on your neighbor's doors, introduce yourself and say, hey, got an extra hockey stick. You want to come play?
You know what? On some of the Freedom vehicles, They were using hockey sticks to hold the flags.
Yeah.
I saw that in some of the convoys, and I just love that. That is so Canadian. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So why not street hockey?
All kinds of conversations at doors. Hey, I'm Donald Lee. Left wing or right wing?
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Well, it depends on what curve the hockey stick is. It's really hard. It's really hard to shoot the other way.
So you wrote a blog about this. When did you write the blog, and where is it posted?
It's posted on my website, cominghomespirit.com. I'd love people to go check it out. It's not very long. It's only like 500 or 600 words. It just kind of lays out the idea. If you're able to put a link in the show notes or something like that, that would be great. But it's easy. cominghomespirit.com. And the whole idea is as a spiritual author and speaker, like all of us are on a spiritual journey. And ultimately, our spiritual journey is to go back home to God. We came from God, and we're going to go back to God, and that's our journey, and it's an eternal journey. So, coming home spirit, where our spirits are all on the way home, and my mission as a spiritual author and speaker is simply just to kind of, in whatever way I can, help people along their journey. And to a certain extent, we're helping each other as Canadians along our journey back to what Canada used to be. We've lost what Canada is. I've said for so many years, like, I don't know what happened, but like, there is no more Canada. I wrote a blog a year and a half ago that the title was Canada's Dead. And so even before COVID, I thought, like, what happened? What happened to this country?
Well, Donald, I'm gonna stop you right there, because when you look at this convoy and you see the spirit of Canadians, Canada's not dead, man. We are rocking it. We are rocking it right now. The spirit of Canadians. And when you look at that GoFundMe, like around $10 million, that to me tells me the spirit of the Canadians, because when the money follows the movement, that is incredibly powerful. And no matter what happens to that money, the fact that that money was accumulated so fast tells you the number of Canadians that are freedom-minded. So I'm very hopeful that that money will be responsibly managed. But even if it wasn't, the fact that it is accumulated tells you the minds. And so you know what? The spirit of Canada is strong. We are far from dead, Donald.
We are, but you know what, Benita, you interrupted me before I had a chance to come to the positive conclusion of that line. See, because Canadians, where Canada is in all the ordinary Canadian people. That's where Canada still lives. It lives in our hearts and in our minds and in our souls. That's where Canada is. Why Canada doesn't seem to be here anymore is all of our leaders. These people that pretend to be leaders, that I don't know where they're leading us. It's like they don't represent Canadians. And this is the message that the truckers and millions of other Canadians are bringing. It says, hold it. This isn't what Canada is about. This isn't what Canadians do. We don't force other people to do stuff that might be dangerous for them. That's not what Canadians do. Stop these crimes. Let people live their own lives. Have some maple syrup.
I gotta stop you again, Donald, because I'm seeing good stuff right now. For example, this week in Parliament, we had some Conservative MPs stand up and speak on behalf of the truckers. And today, the Conservative Party of Canada has fired their leader, Aaron O'Toole. So to me, I look at that and I see progress. I see progress happening. So although, yes, I agree, they have done wrong, what I'm starting to see now is I'm starting to see improvement. And what I feel like we need to do is, instead of constantly criticizing, we need to notice that improvement and praise it, and nudge other MPs from all parties, not just the Conservative Party, but all the parties, to start standing up for Canadians. And so this street hockey protest of yours is so incredibly Canadian, this concept. And I like how you've spun it. You've tied it to Valentine's Day, which is all about love. You're timing it you're proposing that it goes from February 14th to February 18th. I also like it that like it's a hockey rebellion, general strike in a sense. So you're not just saying play hockey, you're saying don't go to work. Make your point that way too. I read on your website earlier today, you were writing 2 weeks to flatten the curve didn't work. Let's try 5 days of street hockey for freedom. And I thought that was a super phrase.
It's worth a try. What the heck, eh? And you know, with Aaron O'Toole being thrown out as leader, and this is the other Conservative members of Parliament saying, "Look, you've lost the confidence of not only the whole party, but you've lost the confidence of us." And good for them. Let's see, you know, Conservative members of Parliament and all members of Parliament and all members of provincial legislatures. Hey, it's time to have the courage to stand up and speak the truth. Enough with party discipline and towing the party line. It's about truth and not lies. Come on. If you want to be a leader, you signed on to be a leader. Be a leader. Here's your chance.
Well, I agree. And maybe some of those MPs and MLAs should join us in street hockey. Wouldn't that be awesome? I live in Westlock, Alberta, and I just love the idea of closing a street, whether it's in front of town office or in front of the mayor's house or some town councilor's house. Close it off, play street hockey, and then just imagine if that mayor or that town councilor or that CAO came out and played and said, you know what, you guys have a point here, let me join you. And maybe they don't play, maybe they play on the opposing team, maybe that's what it is. I disagree with you, but we're going to express it through hockey, all right? Like, come on, right? We don't have to be angry at each other. We can have a dialogue, and maybe that's through hockey, right? Like,
hey, here's an idea. Okay, so I challenge somebody in Ottawa to on Valentine's Day take like 360 hockey sticks over to the Parliament buildings and a bunch of pucks and challenge all the MPs. Okay, guys, get out of your offices, get out of Parliament. You're not doing any good there anyway. Come join Canadians and play hockey out in front on the Rideau Canal or whatever. I think there used to be a skating rink in front of Parliament building. I don't know, but come on out and play hockey. Let's see who is willing to join with ordinary Canadians. There you go. Challenge anybody in Ottawa. Buy 360 hockey sticks.
Well, that sounds so fun. Donald, I'm actually headed to Ottawa right now. I'll be there in just a few days, and I'm going to see what I can do about passing your message along. My name is Benita Pedersen, and I'm with All Fired Up for Freedom, and I'm on my way to Ottawa, ladies and gentlemen. And if you want to support my good work, send me an email or expressions of appreciation to benitapedersen@hotmail.com. I really appreciate people and the ones reaching out with words of encouragement, etc. You guys are fantastic. I'm doing what I can to post on Facebook live regularly. If you can't catch me on Facebook, I've got a YouTube channel, DJ Benita. I also have some material on my Rumble channel, also DJ Benita. So I'm wishing you all really, really well, and big thanks to Donald Lee for being my guest tonight and sharing such an interesting concept there. The title of that concept was the Valentine Street Hockey Rebellion General Strike, and Donald proposes that it takes place from February 14th to 18th, and it's basically a street hockey rebellion. I encourage everyone to read his blog at cominghomespirit.com. Just type in cominghomespirit.com and check out his blog there where he elaborates a little bit more on this concept. The convoy is awesome and the protests going on are awesome, especially those ones taking place at the legislature in different provinces. I've been talking to a lot of freedom leaders and magical things are happening. It's absolutely fantastic. And with that being said, people can't always drive all the way to Ottawa and support that. They can't always drive all the way to the border and support what's going on there. And they can't always drive all the way to the legislature. So why not participate in this concept that you can do right in your own hometown? It's silly, it's fun, it's a way for people to take notice and open their eyes and go, why are they playing street hockey in the street? And then that way, the community sees that, right? Like the community may have seen a convoy come through last Saturday. I bet you the community is going to see an even bigger one come through this Saturday because people are fighting for their rights and freedoms. And anybody who doesn't yet understand the necessity to fight for rights and freedoms, I'm very hopeful that all those people soon will. I'm very hopeful that we can change more hearts and minds of individuals across the province and change the hearts and minds of more representatives in Ottawa. So that's where I'm headed. I'll be there in a few days. Thank you everybody for